Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Big Questions, Small Steps. My name is Amanda and I'm so glad to be with you tonight. Tonight we are preparing for one of the most special nights in the Jewish year. And it's special because it happens every Friday. It's called Shabbat. Shabbat is one of the mitzvot and one of the highest holidays in all of Judaism. It is on this day when the Jewish community purposefully rests and they take a purposeful pause to let Hashem come into their lives, fill them so they can greet the new week. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's needed for Shabbat, what the blessings are, and then we're also going to go into the closing ceremony for Shabbat. That's called, do you know it? Havdalah. So we're going to talk about Shabbat and havdalah tonight. So Shabbat happens on Friday night. That's when we start. That's when Jews believe that the start of the seventh day of creation occurred. So if you recall, on the days of creation, God on the seventh day looked at all that he created and he rested. So on Friday night, Jews will go to services perhaps, and they will welcome in Shabbat in a special way. Now, to mark that for themselves, they typically have Shabbat candles. Typically 2, you can have more, typically 2. And you will need a cup of either wine or juice, preferably kosher. And then you're going to need some bread. Typically it's challah bread, which is like a sweet bread, but quite honestly, you can use any bread product. Tonight I'm using pretzels because that's what I had at my house. So to start our Shabbat, it happens when the sun goes down. In your practice, it might be at dusk. As soon as the sun goes down, you can start preparing for Shabbat. In other practices, you wait until you can see a star. That's different practices. But typically, for the Jewish community, Shabbat is a time where they rest, so they're not working. They will eat, they will go to services, they will read, they will relax. Some Jewish people may use electricity, some Jewish people do not use electricity. Typically, you don't cook on Shabbat. It is very purposefully a day of rest. It is something that, as I have entered into the conversion process, found great delight in. My Jewish community chuckles a little bit whenever I leave services and I share that I'm going home to take my Shabbat nap. But that is one of the things that I look forward to in my practice, and I love that. I love that to the ends of the earth. So that's something that I do, but you have to do what's right for you in your practice. Okay? So let's get started with the blessings. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to light your Shabbat candles. Okay? So you're going to light one, and you're going to light the other. I'm going to make sure I don't start a fire. And then after the candles are lit, typically it is the female in the household that will do the prayer over the candles, but anyone can. What you're going to do is you are going to take your hands and you're going to wave them in a circle around the candles 3 times. That's just the number that we do it 3 times, and then you're going to cover your eyes. You're basically bringing the light into you, and so when you open your eyes, it's as if it's the first time you're seeing them, and it's the beginning of a new creation. Okay, so we circle at 1, 2, 3, and then you cover your eyes, and then you do the first prayer. It's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihaglik ner shel Shabbat. Or you can sing it, which I typically do, okay? Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihaglik ner shel Shabbat. And then you uncover your eyes and you can move on to the next part. Now the next part is not the juice. So I have this handy dandy resource book from my conversion class called Intro to Judaism 101. Now, according to the book, they have other things in here. So I'm just going to bring it out so I have a reference. And something that they do after they light the candles is they do an invitation. So they welcome the Shabbat bride or the Sabbath bride into your space. And they do that with a prayer. So we'll read the prayer together, okay? It goes like this. We wish you peace, angels of the sovereign of sovereigns, the holy blessed one. Come to us in peace, angels of peace, sovereign of sovereign, the holy blessed one. Bless us with peace, angels of peace, sovereign of sovereign, the holy blessed one. Take your leave from us in peace, angels of peace, sovereign of sovereign, holy blessed one. Now, again, I'm still on the conversion process, so I do some things in Hebrew and I do some things in English because my Hebrew is just not that strong yet. I can do the prayers and the blessings for the elements. That's what I can do. After you invite the Shabbat bride into your space, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to bless your spouse, if you have one, and you're going to bless your children if you have one. So it typically starts with your spouse, and this would be a time where you kind of affirm them and you give them praise and you just speak good things to them. You thank them for their presence in your life, and it's just a special moment of connection at that point, okay? And then you do the blessing for your children or children that you have connected to you, whether they're your niece or your nephew or your son or your daughter. And there are special blessings in the book for them. And there's also special blessings if you want to do just for everybody. Typically, when you do the blessing for your children, you would put your hands on their head or on their shoulders and make it a personal connection thing so that they know that they are important to you and that you have their soul in your mind when you're speaking to them. And you're asking for Hashem's guidance and wisdom as they grow, and you basically want good things for them. So that's that. After that, there will be a toast. So you're going to get your cup, okay? Again, it's either wine or juice that you are using, and you're going to basically talk about the days of creation, and there's a little thing that you can read if you want, or you can just go straight to the blessing. And the blessing is Baruch Atah Adonai, you have to hold it in the air, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei pari hagafin, which is basically saying, blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who creates fruit of the vine. Hence why you have to have wine or juice in your cup. And then you raise it up a little higher and you say L'chaim, which means for life. Beautiful. Okay, after you do the juice, then some traditions will have you wash your hands as a ritual cleansing and bringing in the purity. I personally don't do that part. And then you will have the sharing of bread. Now again, typically you have challah, which is like a sweet bread, but you can have a regular roll. Me and my amazing boyfriend like to use Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay biscuits because they're just delicious. But you can absolutely do a pretzel. You could do a tortilla. It does not matter. If you have a gluten allergy, you can use gluten-free products, and that's absolutely fine. But the blessing is about the bread, And it's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam hamotzi lahem min haaretz. And it's blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And then the mitzvah is you have to take a bite or break it. So you can't just let that sit there, right? So then after that, you're basically finished with your Shabbat service. And there are songs that you can sing afterwards to welcome in Shabbat in a joyous way. Okay? Now, join me in just a moment for havdalah. Okay, so now we magically have our information and resources for havdalah. So for havdalah, you will need a braided candle. You can get this most anywhere. As you can tell, they make a mess. And it is very difficult to clean all the wax up, but it is also beautiful at the same time. So you'll need a multi-wicked braided candle. You are going to need your cup of either juice or wine again, and you're going to need, some spices. So I have this little container and there are spices inside. You can do spices for just about anything. There's havdalah spices. There are people who like vanilla. There are people who like cloves. There are people who change it out based on the season. It's their choice. So again, I'm going to use my handy dandy resource book from my Judaism 101 class. Havdalah is typically a much shorter service. There is not as much incorporated in it. There is one blessing that I'm going to tell you right now that I will butcher, so I'm not even going to try it. It's one that I'm still working on learning. But you're going to start by preparing all the things. It's most common to have a tray because, again, this candle makes a mess. Okay, so we're going to start by making sure we have juice or wine in the cup, and we're going to light our candle. And it takes a little finesse to light it because it has so many wicks. I have learned going in between the wicks tends to help it light quite quickly. And then if you don't have them all lit, you can just tip the candle side to side to make sure all the wicks are engaged, showing that all the Jewish people around the world are all united in one on Shabbat. So you can see it gives off quite a flame, quite a bit of heat as well. Okay, so once the candle is lit, we're ready to begin havdalah. Havdalah is typically used to close out Shabbat, and we begin that when you see 3 stars in the sky on Saturday evening. Okay, so after we have everything presented, we are going to go ahead and we're going to start with the cup, and we raise it in the air. We're not going to drink, but we're going to say Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei pari hagafin, which means blessed are you, Lord our God, who brings fruit from the vine. Okay? And then we're going to take the spices. Typically we shake them up to get a little bit extra spice smell. And then we raise it in the air and we say Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei minei v'samim, which is who brings good things to us. And then you're going to pass those things around. You typically do 2 smells, one quick and one long, to bring sweetness into your week. Beautiful. I do love that smell. And you pass that around your whole table so everyone is participating. And then after you do the spices, then you're going to take the candle that gets really messy and you're going to hold it in the air and you're going to say another blessing, and you're going to say Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei morei ha'esh. Okay? Who brings light to our world is basically what you're saying. Blessed are you. Then you're going to stretch your hand out and you're going to admire the work that the light does, how it changes in what you can see between your fingers, how you can see a gleam on your fingernails. You're going to show your appreciation for what that light does for your life, okay? After you do that, you're going to take your cup again and you're going to raise it and you're going to say a little bit longer prayer this time. And this is the one that I do not have down in Hebrew. Basically, it says, thank you for being in our life, for bringing us the joy of Shabbat. Please be with us in the week to come. And then you raise it again. You take one sip. And then you take the candle, that's messy, 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 and you're going to extinguish it in the juice or the wine, whatever it is that you have. So that you're not blowing it out, you're letting God take care of God, essentially. And with that, your havdalah service is done. Frequently, they will also end with a song called Eliyahu, which is talking about Elijah and how we wish for Elijah to come and bring peace to the world. That is havdalah, and that is Shabbat, and that is by far my favorite tradition in the Jewish customs thus far. I hope you have a great week and a wonderful Shabbat, depending on where you are in your life right now. And I wish you all the best in years to come. The more you know, the more you grow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.